Welcome to another rare TTG video, this time focusing largely on the latest new location for the ever-expanding video game markets. This time in Oxford at the King's Centre, but first a brief look as to what brought us down south in the first place for this weekend in September. A few drinks were had, food devoured, and as you can see in a minute, whilst not gaming related, the Japanese anime behemoth Studio Ghibli was in London town at Wembley Arena with Joe Hishashi's orchestra. At least 4 standing ovations brought the event to a close in front of over 10,000 people for what was a 3-year delay after multiple cancellations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Following that, we went to the latest debug of WifiWars, the 16th iteration no less at the Royal Institution. Being a debug, the regular leaderboard was somewhat curtailed, featuring only a version of the TV show Pointless, alongside favourites such as Pac-Man and Rob's version of Bejeweled, Crush My Jewels, all of which counted towards the final score. While sadly I didn't feature in the top 10, 11th as per certificate emailed after the show, fellow TTGer Ems secured the win and the prize of Puddy the Cat. Please find a link in the description for further WifiWars dates as they extend their tour well into 2024, with more dates set to be announced all around the country. If you have a penchant for retro games and enjoy a laugh with friends, the show is thoroughly recommended. Now on to the main part of the video, the Oxford Gaming Market. Held for the first time and hot on the heels of another new location in the Newcastle Gaming Market earlier in the month, the Oxford Gaming Market was a pleasant experience. Not as busy as some of their more popular and established locations, the King's Centre was a nice walk down the River Thames from the city centre's main shopping area. Upon arrival there was no queue as we wandered in for early bird entry almost 40 minutes late. Whilst the venue was somewhat isolated from the main part of the city, inside it was much of the same as other venues. The sports hall style room housing plenty of offerings for retro gaming enthusiasts. There were plenty of regulars amongst the sellers such as the ever-present Console Passion, Karim Safir, and Donny's very own Doorway to Dorkness with one of the biggest stalls on the day to mention just a few. Gamer Fragment is one stall that is starting to appear on a more regular basis, and the work on some of these are fantastic. They do bespoke requests as well as those that you can see in the video. I particularly like the variation in the floppy disk based games as well as the more modern CD based systems on offer. Whether it be based on one individual game or the entire series of your favourite gaming property, links as detailed in the description. Another stall becoming a regular is the super cute manuals made for your favourite Switch games by MBP UK. Again, find all the links in the description. Whilst a niche market, who doesn't like the physicality of a manual when opening the game case? Painstakingly created, I am sure, whilst pricey for such a small item, well worth the money when picking out your favourite game. Amongst the regulars, it was nice to see some unfamiliar sellers. One assumes more local to the event than some of the others. Can you spot any of your favourite retro games or bargains in amongst the video? There was one stall that had a sealed copy of Ocarina of Time for £500, whilst one of the highlights of the market was seeing Box by Amiibo exclusive to Japan, possibly the rarest item at the market on sale. Have a guess how much? However, the most expensive item I saw was a box copy of the NES alongside Rob the Robot in excellent condition. The same stall was selling some gems on the Game Boy in outstanding condition, which brings me on to the final stall to feature in the video and one where I made my only purchase. This was in fact Paul Murphy from NintyMedia, who previously published Ninty Fresh and Switch Player magazine. With no actual gaming purchases made, more due to a refocus required on my part than nothing being available, as you can see from the previous footage, I was drawn to Paul Murphy and his gamebook. Having previously backed his first Kickstarter, the small but informative Amiibook, I missed out on the gamebook as was unsure of the actual product. Picking the demo up on display and talking to Paul meant it was an almost immediate purchase, even more so as he had made up 20 individually numbered Oxford Gaming Market specials. A nice little touch and not something I had previously seen from any seller other than the usual convention special pricing. Let's take a little detailed look at the product. So unlike many coffee table books on the market, this book doesn't claim to be an encyclopedia of all the games released on Nintendo's original and popular handheld system. No bad thing to either of those, by the way, as I have multiple books detailing the entire catalogue of individual systems. Instead, it is made up of mini articles and retrospectives documenting its release and subsequent re-releases, focusing on some of the best of the games for the console from numerous contributors. It immediately drew me in, so much so that I have read half of the book in the first 24 hours of owning, and had me wanting to read more. So let's take a little look at the actual package. So what we have here is the game book, and as you can see in this corner here, hopefully, it says OGM Special, limited to 20. So what Paul's done, I'll just turn it over and you can see it's $29.99. And that was for this version. He was actually selling the book for $19.99 without the extras. And what you get here is a nice little sleeve, Oxford Gaming Market, and on the back, hopefully you can see it there, little sticker, limited to 20, this is number 8. We did get in on early bird, so there'd been a few gone before us. I no doubt he sold all his 20, I would imagine. So we'll put the book to one side. What you get was 2 bookmarks which I think were the piece de resistance, especially this one, the foil printed one. But we have the first one here that says Gamebook on it, and on the other side there is 5, probably some of the standout games on the Game Boy, to be fair. All hand drawn, quite a little cool feature. This one, let's put those to one side. This one here, foil embossed with the game packs of those said games, I think. So Super Mario Land 2, Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon. Not quite sure if you can see that too well, but as you can see, it's very shiny. Very shiny. We have the foil embossed print of the Game Boy and the game pack with a few of the details there. Nice little artwork, might get that one framed. And then double-sided Tetris artwork. We're selling these individually, as well as a few of the other pieces of art that are featured in the book. What else did you get? You got a little embossed pin badge. Let's see, I don't know if we can make that out much better. And there we go. Nice little addition. He was selling these individually as well, $2.99, but obviously came with the package. So on to the book. Nice, again, hand-drawn artwork. On the back, a few more of the games. Got DuckTales, got Picross. Ems has got Pokemon. Don't think we've got Metroid 2, certainly not got Revenge of the Gator. I'm not even sure I've heard of that one, and not got Mega Man. So, inside, again, nice sticker, limited number 8. And thank you for your support. I hope you enjoy the book, signed by Paul himself. So inside, hopefully you'll see, let me just put that there, and you can see some of the artwork as well as the text. So contents page, 280 pages. Forward by Steve Jarrett, once of Total Magazine. The artwork's fantastic, lots of different contributors, and it talks about some of the things that came before and after the Game Boy. Introduces the Game Boy, some pictures, the infamous one that was, I think that was the Gulf War, and is still working. The insides, accessories, the actual game pack itself, showing you how to spot a fake cartridge. Some of the variations in art from Europe to Japan, even mentions some of the opposition, the Sega Game Gear and the Lynx from Atari. Mentions the imagining of the original Game Boy, which was just basically new colours. The Game Boy Pocket, the difference of the insides of the Game Boy Pocket, the variations of the Game Boy Pocket and the Game Boy Light. Some lovely pictures. It touches on the Super Game Boy. One thing I didn't realise was that the Super Game Boy 2 was actually, I believe, Japan only, and actually let you play the games at the correct speed. I didn't realise that the Super Game Boy apparently does not play at the same speed. Game Boy camera and printer. Even mentions the analog pocket. And then there's lots of retrospectives in the book around the music, various different accessories, one that didn't get released, the Work Boy there, which I didn't know anything about. It touches on the homebrew scene, which is quite a nice little touch. It's got a timeline of the Game Boy. I'm not going to flip through every single page here, by the way. But there's retrospectives on various different games, especially the ones that obviously mean the most to Paul, and ones that he felt were key at the time. But all these were by different contributors, not just Paul himself. We have Zelda in there, we've got Kirby in there, we've obviously got Pokemon in there, Wario, more Pokemon. And then about halfway through the book, there's a double page spread on games that were in an A to Z. So we've got Alleyway, which I believe was a launch title. Didn't know Mario was featured in that. So there's quite a few things in here that I wasn't aware of. And I do like the artwork of the screenshot, how pixelated it is. Really shows off what the Game Boy was about at the time, considering it wasn't in full colour. So there's Castlevania there, Donkey Kong Land. I mean, look at that. It actually looks fantastic, even on a full page spread. Dr. Mario, one of my favourites. Puzzle games worked really well on the Game Boy. Didn't have Dr. Mario at the time, but since picked it up. F1, got that one. The Game Boy camera. Lots and lots of double page spreads on all the various games that came out. Like I said, it's not trying to be an encyclopedia of every game. I think there's about 40 games mentioned, 40 or 50. And then towards the end of the book, one that really appealed, but obviously I didn't back it, but if you backed the limited edition of this on Kickstarter, you could get your picture by the looks of it in the book with the Game Boy camera. Quite a nice little touch there. And then all the list of all the deluxe backers, the contributors, the illustrators, and then there's an epilogue by Teresa, Games Mistress. So yeah, that's the book. And one little teaser. Hopefully, if it'll come out, but coming Kickstarter Q4, the Game Book Colour. I believe Paul's wanting to go on to do other systems, or to the Game Boy Advance, and maybe even outsource to some of the other Nintendo home consoles. So hopefully you can see from this video just how good and thorough this book is. It's my first sort of run through of a product, so apologies if the camera wasn't great in any of that. We live and learn. I'll put a link in the description to NintyFresh website where you can find Paul's work, as well as Paul's Twitter page, or X. Maybe worth a watch out, especially due to this Game Book Colour, if it's of interest. So as always, thank you for watching with this mini review of Oxford Gaming Market and Paul's Game Book, as well as a nod to see what else we get up to in our spare time in London. Hope you liked the video, or at least some parts of it. The next gaming market, I believe, is in Cardiff. Whilst we won't be there for that one, we are still hopeful of attending Retro Collect's Play Expo in Blackpool, as well as the biggest gaming event in the UK in EGX next month. So give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we can bring you some footage of those events too. Ciao for now.